Good evening, viewer. How are you tonight? It's so good to be here again. And I want to thank you for waiting. I know lots of people have been sending me messages that what is happening. We've been putting some few things together, okay? Technical for errors, but it's all resolved now and we're back. It's topsol Business Hour, and I'm glad to be here with you. My name is Akinshola Ogundia. If you give me a moment, let me just charge my phone. All right, thank you very much. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I just want to keep my phone on in case we have some comments or questions so that I can actually just take them personally from here because we're going to have a very short time tonight, but we're going to move forward, okay? But before I start the teaching tonight, I want to give you a very good news. I don't know if you have always thought about having residual income. There are lots of people. It's actually showed that 99% of people don't have a residual income. What do you call residual income? An income that comes in apart from the job that you do or the business that you are physically involved in. That's an income that just comes and you enjoy just because maybe you invested in something and it comes. Now, for those that have always looked forward to that, I think I have a very good news for you. Because at Topsol, I mean, one of the investments that we do is Forex. Okay, we trade Forex, and I mean, we've been doing that for about 12 years now, and so we've learned a lot, and we're still learning. Okay, but at least we are sure that we can make money now, and we make money now. And so what we want to do for our viewers is that the first 10 minutes of this program we're going to dedicate to what we call Forex for rookies. Okay, now, so if you want to start trading Forex or you've been trading Forex, we're going to be giving some Forex signals every Monday. And our target, okay, I mean, the minimum that we can assure you is 10%. So how do you imagine that every week you can make 10% of your investments? I'm not saying the money you invest with us. I'm saying that you personally, you invest for yourself and then you make 10% every week. We're going to assure you that. I mean, that's the minimum. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is on Mondays, every Monday by 8 p.m., we're going to give you a very short Forex for Rookies news, and we're going to give you some orders that you can place. Okay, and for those that are actually actively involved in trading Forex and you want to join our Forex group, you already have my number scrolling on the screen there. Yeah, okay. Oh, sorry, that's not my number. That's not my number scrolling. That's the number of Clevenard. Okay, so I'm going to give you my number before I go on the program. You can actually join me on WhatsApp and I can give you live Forex orders. Okay, the orders that I place personally. I mean, once I place the order, I can advise you to place the same. Okay, so that you can make some quick profit. Okay, now don't, please take me wrong. I'm not giving you any professional advice, okay, about trading Forex. I'm just speaking to Forex traders, rookies like us, that are trading just, to have some little investment. So you're going to be enjoying that every Monday by 8 p.m. And if you want to know more about that, you can ask me questions about that. I'm going to explain it. But we're going to be giving Forex signals. We're going to be giving you some tips, okay, every Monday, just for 5 to 10 minutes, so that you can trade along with us and you can make a lot of profit. And also, secondly, another good news is for anyone in Nigeria. I mean, you are a graduate and you're looking for job opportunity. You want to work, okay, with Topsol. We're going to be having opportunities open very soon, so I'll be speaking more about that. I mean, you're going to be sending us your CV, we're going to examine it, and then we work together. Okay, so we're actually looking forward in the very, very closest and nearest future to work with some able young Nigerians that are in Nigeria, okay, that are looking for such an opportunity. I mean, it's going to be a very beautiful, soft, gentle, not difficult job, okay, but you're going to enjoy it, and you, of course, you get paid. All right, so that's one of the things that we do at Topsol. I'll be letting you in more on that as time goes by. But please, every Monday, 8 p.m., don't miss Forex for rookies. Okay, that's gonna be brilliant. All right. Today, how are we going to invest on forex trade? Well, it's not forex, it's forex, okay? Foreign exchange. How can you invest in forex trade? Ajiboye Olufemi Charles. I'm going to be teaching on that one of these days, okay? But you can personally send me a WhatsApp, okay? Just I'll give you my number. My number is okay, 632. Okay, no. That's my personal number. I'm going to give you my business number. Okay, 633-644-261. 633-644-261. If you're going to be from outside Spain, you can add +34 to that. Okay, let me just type it here. If I can be able to do that, +34 for those outside Spain, and then you have 633-644-261. That's topsol official number. Okay, so for anyone that is interested in trading forex, you can join me on WhatsApp with that number, and I'm going to take you through step by step. I mean, it's going to be free, okay, but it's going to be at my time, okay? So I'll dictate the pace. I already have some videos that I've done on forex trading, very elaborate, very comprehensive, and it's step by step that you can follow through. I mean, forex is so beautiful. Don't let me go into that. You know, when I start that, I don't want to stop. But please let me warn you. Let me warn you, if you're listening to me, forex is a very high risk investment. Okay, so please don't trade with any money that you cannot part with. Don't go and sell your house. Don't go and take your retirement money to trade forex. I don't advise that, especially when you're just starting or you are just learning. Okay, so please don't do that. All right, after saying that, let's just go into the topic for tonight. Okay, so Ajiboye Olufemi, I'll be expecting your message, okay, and then we talk about that, but it's very easy. Okay, all right, today we want to start digging deeper into starting business. You know, we've talked about how to start businesses. Last week I was able to tell you about those that are going to be business owners. Okay, some few points that you need to know, okay, in starting business. We've taught that some few weeks back that business is actually for everyone. Everyone is involved in business, either directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously. All right, so but last week I was able to tell you that if you really want to start business, you must start it cautiously. Okay, you must be conscious of what you're doing, and then you must know that, okay, yes, I'm going into business, and then you must ask yourself those three important questions, and in the right order. The first question should be your why, and then how, and then what. Okay, so when you ask those questions in the direct order, then you are really ready to start business. All right. And I also said last week that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Okay, so it's very important. That question why is very important, and that's what helps you to scale through competition. All right, okay. And then I said also that you have to employ your brain and pay your brain with actions. Okay, so you have to think outside the box, you have to be different, you have to be stubborn, and you have to be very crazy, okay, when you go into business, because the world out there is very crazy. I was with some pastors yesterday, wonderful people, and we were sharing together after the meetings, and the pastor looked and said, wow, we're talking about life issues and decisions, and he said life is never straight, and that's the truth. Okay, and the same with business. Business is never straight. I mean, you can't even tell what's going to happen tomorrow. Okay, but you have to be prepared, and that is what makes the difference between a real businessman and just someone that doesn't really know what he or she is doing. Okay, so tonight, very briefly, I'm not going to rush this because this is extremely important. Maybe you've decided to start business. Maybe you're already in business, but you're still mixed up a bit, or you're already in business and you want to take it to the next level. I'm going to be talking about one of the elements. You remember I told you there are 5 elements in business, involved in business. I'm going to start with one of the elements tonight, which is extremely important, and that is the perspective from which many people actually view business. Okay, I told you it was wrong anyway. I mean, you don't have to view business from that perspective, and that is the product. Okay, product and services, and that's why the topic tonight says understanding your product or knowing your product. Okay, now, so you need to know your product. When you want to start business, you need to know your product. When I say know, when you look at the word know in the scriptures, let me look at an example of know in the Bible. Yeah, when God was talking about Adam and Eve, okay, Eve was the wife of Adam, right? Okay, I still know my Bible. Yeah, I mean, when he was talking about Adam and Eve, when he wanted to talk about them coming together to make children, the Bible used the word know, and Adam knew his wife. That's the knowing that I'm talking about. Intimacy. Okay, so when you want to start business, you have to know your product. So how do you know your product? That is what we want to talk about tonight. I mean, the reason why a lot of people have not been able to define their business, or their business has not been able to define them, is because they don't actually know their product. They don't actually know their services. When we were in Nigeria, when I was in Nigeria, sorry, I mean, not everybody has left Nigeria. When I was in Nigeria, when the new generation banks started, okay, when they started their business, it got to a point that they were actually aiming at getting their offices on every street, all right? And I happened to attend a seminar then, and the speaker he asked a very general question. He said, what is the main business of there was Mr. Biggs then, Mr. Biggs, Tantalizers. I think I still remember them. Those were eateries, okay? Very beautiful restaurants then, in the standard of, the McDonald's and stuff that we have today. And he said, what is the real business of these restaurants? And what is the real business of the banks today? And we began to look at it, and some said, well, the eateries, of course, their real business is selling food and providing service to satisfy the society, the clients, and people and their customers. And the banks, of course, they invest in they get money from loans, they loan money to people, they save money for people and stuff. We were seeing all kinds of things, and of course their stocks. And the man looked at us and said, you are all wrong. And we were shocked. We were like, what is their business? He said their real business, their real investment is real estate. He said, and that is the reason why they want to put up a building on every street. And I was shocked. And if you looked at it very well, truly, every street that a bank enters, or an eatery enters, or a school starts, the value of the land in that area increases. It just shoots up. So at the back of their minds, they actually know that their main business was real estate. Can you believe that? So if you really don't know their product, for example, I have a very good saying that God gave to me, that the secret of success is not in doing what successful people do, but in knowing why they do what they do. If you do what successful people do just because you see them doing it, you might go wrong, because you might also start having a bank. You might say that, okay, bank is the in thing, starting school is the in thing, or having an eatery is the in thing, and then you start yours and you find out that you're not making success as those people are, not knowing that they are not concentrating on that service, they're actually concentrating on real estate. Okay, so you need to know your business. So the intimacy between you and your product, you need to know your product. The intimacy between you and your product will actually determine how successful your business is going to be. There are still lots of businessmen today that when you ask them, they really don't know what they sell. Okay, they think they sell one thing, but the truth is, if you dig deep or deeper into what they sell, it's actually different. There are so many companies today that what they sell is actually the difference or standard, or the luxury. Okay, not actually. For example, if I ask you about cars, what does Lamborghini and Ferrari, what do they sell? They don't just sell a car that can take you from one place to the other. That's what other people do. Renault and Clio, and Renault and Seat and all others and Peugeot. But what these guys sell, they sell class, they sell speed, okay, they sell performance. So you really need to know your product deeply. You need to have an intimacy with your product. And so the first thing I want to say here tonight is this: you cannot sell what you do not believe in. or have experienced. You cannot sell what you don't believe in. You cannot sell what you have not experienced. There was a time I was into a coffee business, okay? A good friend of mine brought a coffee business from America, and it was a franchise, okay? And we were supposed to go into this, and it was supposed to be a multi-level marketing business. And people were doing extremely and excellently well in the business, but we could not break through. At first, we felt that the market that we had was not good for the coffee, and also we felt that the price was too high and the people could not afford it. But later, when I got to know about this, I found out that I myself, I don't even use the products. First of all, I don't drink coffee. And so it's very difficult for me to appreciate what I was selling. So I only wanted to sell because I needed to make money. I only wanted to sell because I just wanted to do business, but I didn't know the product. I had no personal relationship with that product, okay? So it wasn't going to sell because you're going to get tired of it. But if it's a product that you use, that you use day in, day out, it will be very easy for you to sell. As a matter of fact, it's not just about selling it, it's about using it. It's about telling people of what you have experienced. It's about it's just like the gospel too. The reason why a lot of people cannot tell others about Jesus or that they are Christians is because they don't know that Jesus that they would have proclaimed. They don't have any relationship with him. They didn't wake up this morning to speak with Jesus or pray to him or talk with him. Okay, so it's very difficult for you to say what you don't believe in. It's very difficult. All right, it's extremely difficult. So the first thing you need to know is that whatever product you're going to sell, whatever service you're going to render, it has to benefit you first. You have to use it first. You cannot be selling African wares and you've never worn African clothes. Then how would you know how it fits? How would you know how it feels on the body? It's not possible, okay? I'm not saying that you must use every product you sell, no, but you must know about it. I'm not going to say because I want to sell bleaching cream and then I'll start bleaching. That's not what I'm talking about. But you must know the content. You must know how it works, what type of cancer people can have when they use it, what kind of skins it works on, and all that. You must be able to research. So I'm not saying that every product you sell you must use. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is you must have an intimate relationship with your product. You must know your product like you know yourself. Okay, so you cannot sell what you do not believe in or have experienced. You must first know and love your product. Okay, so whatever you're thinking about now, you must first know and love your product. There was a time that I had a summer school. Unfortunately, it stopped now because of my new job and all that. Well, not stopped, but I'm not personally involved again. It still goes on. I have people that run it now. But when I was running the summer school, I enjoyed it. You know why? Because the first thing I had to do was to love children. You cannot run a school for children when you don't love children. There are people that don't really, get along with children. I know that. I have friends like that. They don't. When a friend comes into your home and you have children around, and the friend cannot even see that you have children, okay, such a person doesn't really love children. It's not possible for me to visit a place or go into a place and see children. The first thing that attracts me are the kids. Like, hey, how are you? Hey, how you doing? Come on, I want to touch them because I have a love for them. And so it was very easy for me to go along with these kids. And people used to wonder. I had about 50 kids, and I would take all of them with 2 or 3 other ladies that were working with me. We took them to the playa. That's the beach. We took them to cinema. We took them everywhere. And these kids were lovely. Why? Because we loved our service. Now, I'm not calling kids products. Now, we're not selling kids, okay? Don't mind me that. But we loved our service. That wasn't a product, it was a service. The service was to make these kids happy, was to impact them, and we loved it. So if you don't love kids, okay, you cannot do such a thing. If you don't love people, if you don't have passion for people, you can't be a medical doctor. So whatever product you want to sell, you must first love it, and then you'll be able to sell. Okay, so you have to understand your product on that level. The second thing I want to share with us tonight is, in choosing your product, you must consider the following. Remember, we're talking about your product, knowing your product tonight, because when you want to start business, you must first of all know your product. And when I mean product, it could be also service. I'm going to get there now. So I said, in choosing your product, you must consider the following. Number one, what is the product? Okay, you must know the nature of the product. What exactly is the product you're selling? Is it physical? Is it a commodity? Is it a service? Is it material? Is it an idea? What exactly are you selling? You need to know that. When people ask you, you must be able to, at the tap of a finger, you must be able to tell them, what exactly are you selling? I work for a company right now, and when people ask me, what do you guys sell? It's very easy for me. Perfumes and cosmetics. That's it. All brands, everything. Okay, so you must be able to define your product. I have an office, and people ask me, "What do you do in this office?" I had a very big problem with that when I first started because it wasn't well defined, and that is the way a lot of us run business. Okay, I've seen that a lot in Nigeria. I mean, you enter into a store and you can't really tell what these people are selling because you're going to find chemicals, you're going to find foodstuffs, you're going to find clothings, and then everything is mixed up. I even here in Europe, I see that in African stores. All these are African stores. You see them, they're selling meat, they're selling fish, they're selling wigs, they're selling cosmetics, everything in the same store. Then you ask them, what do you sell? It's African supermarket, African store. You're lying to yourself. You don't know what you're selling. If you pick just one of those products and you specialize in it, or you put them in sections, I believe you're going to do better. That's why you find out that people that actually do well in business, they are able to define their business. When I started my office then, I was doing virtually everything. Okay, I was designing websites. I was into administrative works. I applied for visa. I was teaching these. I was doing that and all kinds. And so when people asked me, "What exactly do you do?" Let me share this joke. At a point, when I started my office, I left a personal office and I went to this place that we call co-working center. So co-working means that you're just going to pay for your table and your chair, and so you have other people to pay for their seat. And it was wonderful because it actually helped me to expand my social network. So I enjoyed that. But I had professionals. There was a guy, he was an architect. There was another one, he was a photographer, and there was another one, he was an engineer. There was another one, he was a web designer, and there was another one, he was a dentist. I think maybe a doctor or something like that. He was a physician, professional. And so everyone had what they did. And so the day I came into the office and then they introduced me, the owner introduced me to all of them, and each of them would tell their names and what they do. Their names and what they do. And so after introduction, they said, "Okay, so you are Kinshola, so what do you do?" And I think that was a defining moment in my life because I couldn't actually tell what I was going to be doing. I said, well, a bit of everything. I'm into graphic design, I'm into marketing, I'm into online business, I'm into forex trading. And they were like, "Okay, so you do everything." And I couldn't say yes. And I was ashamed of myself because at that point I realized that I didn't have a business. Okay. So, but what I now said was this. I said, I'm a service contractor. And that was how I built myself up. I said, I'm a service contractor. So I get services. I give services to whatever people need. You need a photographer, I'm going to get you that. You need an event plan, I'm going to get you that. I still do that. Okay, don't mind me. Because the truth is, I'm a business developer, so I develop a lot of businesses. But what I do today is that once I develop a business, I hand it over to someone. Okay, so I develop businesses for people. And of course, I'm still a service contractor because whatever you need, people know that. Just call Shola, he will sort you out. So whatever you need, I know the right person to call and I'll fix you, okay? And I get my commission. It's a business, but I needed to define it like that. I can't just tell people that I do everything. You can't do everything, okay? So it's extremely important for you to know what your product is. What exactly are you selling? If you want to be an investor, are you an investor or you give investment ideas? There are two different things. You need to define who you are. Even as a pastor, you need to define what your office is. A pastor of what? Okay, what do you preach? What should people know you for? Okay, it's extremely important. You must define your product. Okay, so what is the product is another thing. Now, let me quickly run to the next one. How is the availability quotient, okay, or frequency and accessibility of your product? How accessible? Okay, how can people access your product? Is it a product that is going to be available for a long time, or a product that, I mean, is just an opportunity that is available now, and after some time is going to stop? Let me give you one example of that. When way back in Nigeria, I know this still maybe possibly still happening, but back then in Nigeria, when we used to have fuel scarcity, okay, just suddenly you begin to see, how do you call them now? Petrol dealers. Okay, everybody becomes a petrol dealer. Why? Because there is scarcity of fuel, so people begin to buy fuel, in the black market, and so all these black markets, they become, dealers. All of a sudden, they begin to sell petrol. Such business, that's what I'm talking about. Such products, the accessibility is limited, okay, is limited by the circumstances, okay, that was happening in the country then. So by the time you find out that the government, releases the workers, and then everything comes to normal, such businesses disappear. And that is how some people, that is how their business are. Some people have businesses that cannot last. Okay, why? Because the products are not accessible. For example, if you are in Europe here, you will understand what I'm trying to talk about. For example, you want to be importing. I mean, my mom, she's a fish farmer, and she does this catfish. I mean, and she does it beautifully well. Maybe one day I should promote my mom. Okay, if you're in Nigeria and you need her to supply you for your events and all that, she will do that excellently well. I mean, she does it extremely special. I mean, not the black one that is smoky. No, no, no. She uses, gas, natural gas, and all that. It's beautiful, well packed and sealed. I mean, but what am I saying? I mean, these are products that I can actually bring over to Europe and sell. But what has been giving me the headache and the problem is the accessibility. I said, can you supply me? How much of this can you supply me on a weekly basis, and it's not going to stop? And he said, oh, it depends. It depends on how we get the supply. I said, so you don't have it consistently. You just have it locally, okay? So I couldn't venture into that business. Why? Because I checked the availability of that product, and I found out that it's not going to last. Okay, so I'm not going to invest into such business. Okay, so you need to understand your product, how accessible and how available can it be. It's not just about goods, okay, even services. For example, now I have a Spanish class, okay, where I prepare people for their nationality exams. And when I started, I used to have so many students, like 20, 15 students per time. But now it's reduced. And, we were, taking an appraisal of what is happening. And people were like, okay, Shola, what is really happening? Are you sure that there are no other schools, or maybe we are not doing good and all that? I said, well, nobody does better than what we're doing, because we have 98% success rate. 98, even if not 99% success rate. All our students always pass. I said, so in that, I know that my standard is still well kept. We are still the best in Spain so far. I mean, so there is no question about that. And I asked them, I said, well, but let's look at it from this perspective, okay? Our market is limited, our scope is limited to immigrants that don't speak Spanish, okay? So that alone gives us a population scope, okay? And then every time they come to the class, they come for a month and then they pass their exams. Do you know that those that have come are not coming back? Okay, why? Because they already have what they want. So it's not a good that they need to eat and eat over and over again. Okay, it's not something they eat and digest and come back for again. Okay, so it's a product that or a service that once they get it, that's the end. I said, so you have to consider that. All right, so if you had 1,000 possible clients at the beginning, maybe after 2 years, I think we've been running for about 2 years now, after 2 years, and you've had like 10 every month, I mean, that's about 100. So you're already short of about 200 or 300 people at the end of 2 years, and those people are not coming back. Okay, so you need to understand that what is the rate of people that need the service to the rate of people that already get it and are not coming back. So you find out that at that, the ratio, the accessibility ratio of that particular service and the clients will reduce. Okay, so you need to understand that. So already I'm thinking of the next level. Okay, let's look for another service that we're going to be offering in terms of teaching and all that and impacting knowledge that is not limited, that can be continuous, that people will always need to come back for. Okay, so you need to understand your product in that sense. All right, so when you know that, when you know how accessible your product is and how easily you can get it, then you are at a better stand, to start your business to success. All right. The next thing is, who is looking for the product, or who do you think needs the product? Listen to me. It's not every time that there must be people that are already waiting for your product. Now, let me clear this very, very well, because I know that a lot of people, they've not started business because they are looking at what do people need. It's always good to ask that question. What do people need? But please, let me tell you this. It's not every time that people know what they need. Okay, nobody knew that we needed the internet until the internet was invented. Nobody knew that we were going to need a computer, as laptops until it was invented. If they didn't invent it, we would still live anyhow. Are you getting what I'm saying? Nobody knew that we needed an aircraft before the Wright brothers started flying, their big kites around. Nobody knew all that. But when the products came, what happened? Everybody wanted it. Okay, so please, when you are thinking, I talked about thinking outside the box the other day. You don't have to think about what do people need alone. You should always also think about what can I give to people and make them need it. Are you getting my point now? What can I give to people and I will make them to need that product? It's very important. And as a matter of fact, let me tell you the secret. The greatest secret here is this. For people that always look at what people need, they make a lot of success actually, but they cannot make so much success as people that produce a particular product and make people need them. Why? Because people that produce a product and make people need them, the product is unique without competition. And of course, once people see that they need it, they will be the one asking for it. But if you are the one that produce something because people need it, definitely people already need it. So there are going to be competitions, okay? Because once you bring it out, they're like, yes, we've been looking for it. Then they will price it, all right? They will price it because they will know that it's because we told you we need it or because you saw that we need it. That's why you're bringing it. But if you produce it yourself, like invent it, okay? You invent a product and then you bring it to the people. I'm telling you, you place your price. Can I give you another practical example? This is just coming to me. This is one of the visions and ideas that I've always had, and I'm still going to do it. I told someone on Saturday, I said, I'm still going to do this in this Europe, in this Palma. Yeah, it's an African restaurant. We don't have an African restaurant here. If you're listening to me right now and you want to invest into that, you can contact me, okay? My phone number is there. I'll still give it again. You can contact me. We can work on that. There is no standard African restaurant on this island, and this is an island where tourists come. I was arguing with someone the other day. I said, I want to open a restaurant, an African restaurant. And he said to me, no. He said, that's stupid. He said, because Africans are not many here. I said, no. I said, that is very much wrong because I'm not opening it for the Africans. Why should I open a restaurant for Africans? Because they cook the African foods in their homes. They don't really need to come out and buy it. They can cook it in their homes. And that's number one. I said, number two, if I open a Spanish restaurant, then I have competition. Then how do you expect me, an African, to cook better than the Spanish themselves? They're not going to eat my paella. They prefer to eat paella from the real Mallorquin man or the Valencian man, that is what he was brought up to cook. But nobody's going to cook amala or spin pounded yam like me. Nobody's going to wrap moi moi like I will do. It's not possible. All right. So nobody thinks about that because this is their country. This is their nation. This is their society. They don't think about having an African restaurant. So if I introduce that product, they want to try it and I'll place the price. I'll tell them, listen, one handful of amala is 20 euros. Is it that much? Oh yeah, because it's rich. This is what it contains and all that. This is the process. It goes through this, goes through that. They go like, wow, it becomes gold. Why? Because they don't have an idea. And once they taste it and they love it, they want every of their friends to taste it. Okay? Now, so you need to think differently, okay? You need to think differently because if you really want to succeed, you need to think differently. Why is it that Microsoft has really made it? Because it made us to believe that every home must have a Microsoft computer, and everybody needs it. My children, they go like, Daddy, we need a computer. I say, you are too young. No, we are not too young. We can do this, we can do that, because they've been made to believe that they need it. They never knew that they need it, but they've been made to believe that. Okay, so you need to think like that. All right, so that's why I said about your product, you need to know who is looking for the product, or who do you think needs the product. If you think that this set of people need a product, then you produce it. Let me give you a story, very common story that we all know, but I'm going to give it anyway. I love telling stories. There were two people that were sent to a desert land. Okay, there was poverty in that land, and the people had never worn shoes. So this shoe company, they actually sent two people to that country with their beautiful brand new idea of shoes. Okay, well designed new invention of shoes, and they said, well, let's go and try this country, maybe we can sell. Now, when the two salesmen got to that island, I mean to that land, to that country, they found out, the first person that got there, he found out that there was no one that had shoes on. Nobody had shoes on. And he saw that they couldn't afford the shoes that they were even bringing, because these were high-class shoes. And it was like, wow, nobody wears shoes here. It's not going to work. And he called back home to base and said, please send me the next plane and take me out of here, because nobody's going to buy shoes here. And then he left. And then the second guy came. And when he saw the same situation, listen to this, the same nation, the same situation, the same people, no one had shoes, no one really had money to buy the shoes he had. And then he thought, and he said, wow, these people don't even know what shoes are all about. He said, please, and he called back to base. He said, please, the next plane that is coming, can you bring us the factory defect shoes? Those ones that we want to throw away. Bring them here, because everybody on this land needs a pair of shoes. Can you see the idea now? Now, he thought about who are the people. That's his own thinking. I mean, like I said, who is looking for the product, or who do you think needs the product? I mean, the first guy was looking for who are the people that are looking for the product, and he found out they were not looking for shoes because they don't even know about it, and he left. He didn't see opportunity. The second guy did not see it that way. He saw the people that he thinks that will need the product, and that was what he did. He even brought the low quality ones, and he sold it at the very cheapest price. Something that would have been waste became gold for them. That's what I'm saying. So when you think about the people that might need a product, and you come up with a product, and you are right with, your observation, it becomes gold, and you can place your price upon it. Okay, so you begin to think about that way. And then let me move to the next one. I'm going to be rounding up soon. My time is almost over tonight, but I've been enjoying this. Okay. Yeah. You have to know the nature of your product or service. You have to know the nature of your product or service. I mentioned a little bit about that earlier. But you need to know whether your product is seasonal in need. Okay, there are some products that people need in seasons. For example, if you say that, okay, my business is going to be selling of raincoats, then you should know that nobody is going to buy those coats from you when it's the dry season. So you're going to sell only when it is the raining season or before the raining season, because people are not going to buy it when they don't need it. All right. So I live in Europe here, and when you go to the stores, okay, to the boutiques, right now it's winter. Spring is coming. And is it spring that is coming? I'm sorry, I don't know much about that, but it's getting to the one before summer is very close now. And then you find out that the stores, they begin to change, their shelves. Why? Because they know that people will begin to look for summer clothes now. So they're not going to put winter clothes during summertime. So if you want to go into such a business, then you should understand that you must be able to diverse. If not, then your business becomes seasonal, and that can be very deadly. So that's why I say you need to understand the nature of your product or service. Number one, if it's seasonal in need. Then number two, if it is seasonal in supply or availability. For example, I live on an island where everything is, rested upon tourism, and tourism is seasonal. It's only in the summer. Okay, so people actually, come when it is summer. So the supply, okay, of our service is limited. It's seasonal. So anything outside that, you see people relaxing, people traveling out of Palma. Okay, why? Because the supply, even of the service, is limited, by season. So you need to understand that extremely well. And then number three, if it is in style or if it is, I mean, if it is style or technology dependent. Does it depend on a particular style or the vogue in town, or if it depends on technology? Okay, there are certain ideas that are not going to work today. Why? Because the technology has advanced beyond that. So it's going to be useless if you're coming up with such an idea at this point, because technology has gone beyond that. I mean, for example, if you're coming to Europe now and then your idea is about any product that you're going to sell with, I mean, that has to do with a lot of cash. The economy is already going cashless. Okay, so you need to think in that direction. So whatever service or product you want to offer has to go in line with that. You can take such businesses to Africa, maybe like Nigeria, where they still have a lot of cash. Okay, so you need to understand that the technology, is it technology dependent? If it is, then you have to understand the technology of the day. Is it style dependent? For example, fashion. For example, a particular cream or particular type of wigs and all that. If it is not in vogue, then you don't have to start to sell that. Okay, so you need to understand extremely well your product in that sense. Okay, you need to understand if it's needed in season, if it's seasonal in need, if it is seasonal in supply, and if it is dependent on style and technology. Then the next point is, how will people, or how should people respond to your product? And I use those two words because if I say how will people respond to your product, it means that the people already are looking for the product. You remember I told you about people looking for your product and you thinking of people that should need your product. I mean, so if it's people that are looking for your product, that need your product, okay, an available market, not the one you want to create, then the next thing you should think about your product is how will people respond to it? The quality, the standard, the aesthetics and everything, the packaging. How will people respond to it? And then the second one is, how should people respond to it? So if you are the one that is going to create the market, you feel like, okay, they should need this, then you should be able to propose how you want people or how you expect people to respond to it. It's extremely important, because if you cannot solve that question, then it's going to be very difficult for you to really stand in business, because when people react to your product, you might take it negatively. And that's why a lot of people, when they start in business and they see criticism, they get angry. Oh, I'm not going to do it again. Oh, I'm not going to deal with this person. No. That's not the idea here. You should know how they will respond. I mean, there should be an expectation for you. For example, if I come up, the example I gave of people that never wore shoes. I mean, if I want to create a market there, the first response is people might go like, we don't need it. Okay, so you already know that people should respond in that way because they've never seen it before. Now, so what should be your own reaction? So because when people act, you have to react. Okay, your own reaction now is about giving them some more knowledge about it. You need to enlighten them. This is the reason why you need it. If you don't use this and then you get this particular wound and then you can have this disease and it can lead to this and it can lead to death, when people hear that, they want to listen to you. Okay, so you must be able to know how will people respond, or how should people respond to your product. It's extremely important. It's part of knowing your product. And second to the last, how does your business relate to the other products in the market? There are three ways that products or services relate to each other in the economy or in the market. Okay, number one, your product can be a competitor. Number two, your product can be a complement. And number three, your product can be an alien. Okay, now the first one is, if it's a competitor, it means that your product there are other products exactly like yours, or probably maybe there are a couple of differences, and that is where ingenuity comes in. That is where standing out comes in. That is where being different comes in. The school, as I teach people, is quite different from every other school. Okay, when my students come, they always say that, wow, your method of teaching is extremely different. And that's the truth, because if I teach like every other person, then why should they come to me? That's the question I asked myself when I wanted to start. Why should they come to me if I'm teaching like every other person? Now, if you teach like every other person, then they have choices. Okay, then you just become a competition, and then competition sometimes is not too healthy. Okay, so in whatever you do in life, you must be able to live above competition. It's good when you start with competition. I love competition. I always say to people, example. I want someone else to come and start talking about business here. That will encourage me to do better. Okay, I always say when I see competition, I get excited because it makes me think faster, it makes me think better. But at the same time, when there's too much competition and it begins to affect you negatively, it can actually choke you. All right, so you always need to live above competition. When I see competition, I live above it. I have to make it better. Mine must always be better. Okay, it gives me that competitive spirit, but it's always good. Okay, but you need to understand if your product is actually competitive or not. If it's a complement, it means that you need the other products actually to sell what you're selling, and that is very good for you. Okay, I have another brother that has an auto escuela and is doing fine. I mean, it's complementing to mine, because when people go to his school, he tells them about me. When people come to me, I tell them about him. I mean, we complement each other, we don't compete. That's it. And it can be an alien. Being an alien means that you're not competing with anybody, you're not complimenting anybody. And that comes out when you invent your own products. When you invent your own product, it becomes an alien. But I'm telling you the gospel truth. In this world that we live in, as things evolve fast, there are not too many products that are aliens. Why? Because once it comes out, people begin to start theirs. Have you heard about Bitcoins and all these, blocks and all that? Only one will start, become an alien, and before you know it, you have hundreds and thousands of them. So do you know that almost everybody goes on Facebook now to do videos? So what I'm doing is not special anymore. I mean, but someone started that. When that person started, it'll be an alien. But if you think that your business is going to be an alien for a long time, you're joking. You're not ready. Okay, so you should know that space, that time, that period in business doesn't last long. Okay, once you start something, there are hundreds and hundreds of people that want to start the same. So you must always be on your feet, okay, to run and be the best. And lastly tonight, what I want to say is, does your product have future growth or reproduction potential? That is extremely important. What is the future of the product or the service that you want to start offering? What is the future? What do you see about it? What do I see about what I'm doing right now? Is it just about talking every Monday? No. And if you have been following me, you've seen that we've been changing things every time. Like I told you, from next week now, we'll be giving forex signals. We'll be investing and making 10%. I mean, if you invest on your own, okay. If I want to invest for you, it's different matter. But I want to encourage people that are into forex. I have lots of friends that have been asking about it, that have started in Nigeria and all that. Now I'm going to be giving you some signals, okay. Exactly the things I would trade, I will tell you the same. Okay, you do the same and you make the same profit. Okay, and I'm going to tell you in ratio, in percentage. So it doesn't matter your capital. Your capital might not be as large as mine. It might be lower. It might be higher. But it's going to be on percentage. So you make exactly the same percentage that everybody's going to make. Okay. Now that is raising the standard. Okay, I need to raise the bar, and we're not going to stop there. We're going to keep going. Okay, so that's the same thing that you have to do every time you want to start your business. You have to look at your product. What is the possibility for growth, and what is the possibility for reproduction in the nearest future? That is extremely important. I think I've been able to do a little bit of justice tonight in understanding your product. So it's extremely important for everyone that wants to start business or are already into business to understand what their product is. When people ask you, what do, you should be able to mention it in a word, and please be sincere with yourself when you want to mention that. I want to thank everybody that has joined us tonight, everyone that has made comments. For time, I won't be able to mention so many names, but I must appreciate some people. I want to thank, my wife is watching too. Okay, good. Malen Puyol, that's Madre de los Jefes. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Yetunde Juba Adewusi, thank you, Ma. Ajiboye Femi, thank you very much. Akim Tunde Olode, Rose Love, Kati, that's my boss. Thank you very much. Fabi Yeniola, Eni Baba, Pastor Eni, how are you doing? How is your family? Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate that. And my mommy pastor, like we call her, Mommy Abiodun Balogun Adekanmi, thank you very much. Oyenike Funke Israel Abayomi, you've always watched every Monday. Thank you very much. And my pastor, my daddy, is watching too. I'm honored. Pastor Timothy Adewale. We had a wonderful time last Saturday and Sunday anyway. It was wonderful. We had a beautiful party for him. He clocked 1 year older, and we celebrated that, and it was wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us. I want to appreciate everyone and everyone that has shared the video. God bless you so much. This is Topsol Business Hour, and I want to thank Clevener TV. Please subscribe to Clevener TV so that you can get more videos. There are so many programs coming up, and I'm hoping that very soon Cleveland TV is going to be on 24 hours. So we don't need to subscribe. You just log in and then you watch something. Okay, that's what we're praying for. And they will get there. But before they get there, I mean, subscribe so that every time a new video comes up, you'll be able to see that. I'm going to be here again next week, Monday by 8 p.m. And like I said, something new is going to be starting next week, Monday. So you don't want to miss that. And before then, I say, God bless you. God bless your dream. Change your generation. Thank you very much.